A greater need for non-governmental organizations. 1. The city was attractive precisely because it offered freedom from the compulsory and coercive rural community, but it was destructive because it did not offer any community of its own. And human beings need community. If there are no communities available for constructive ends, there will be destructive, murderous communities, the gangs of Victorian England, or the gangs that today threaten the very social fabric of the large American city, and increasingly of every large city in the world. The first to point out that humans need community is one of the great classics of sociology, Gemeinschaft und Gesellschaft, Community and Society, by Ferdinand Tönnies, published in 1887. But the community that Tönnies, over a century ago, still hoped to preserve, the organic community of traditional rural society, is gone, and gone for good. The task today, therefore, is to create urban communities, something that never existed before. Instead of the traditional communities of history, our communities need to be free and voluntary. But they also need to offer the individual in the city an opportunity to achieve, to contribute, to matter. A greater need for non-governmental organizations. 2. Since World War I, and certainly since the end of World War II, the majority in all countries, whether democracies or tyrannies, believed that government should and could supply the community needs of an urban society through social programs. We now know that this was largely delusion. The social programs of the last 50 years have, by and large, not been successes. They certainly have not filled the vacuum created by the disappearance of traditional community. The needs were certainly there, and so has been the money, and in many countries in enormous quantity. But the results have been meager everywhere. But it is equally clear that the private sector, business, cannot fill that need either. I actually once thought that it could and would. More than 50 years ago, in my 1943 book, The Future of Industrial Man, I proposed what I then called the self-governing plant community, the community within the new social organization, the large business enterprise. It has worked, but only in one country, Japan. And even there, it is by now clear it is not the answer. In the first place, no business can really give security. The lifetime employment of the Japanese is rapidly proving to be a dangerous delusion. Above all, however, lifetime employment, and with it the self-governing plant community, does not fit the reality of a knowledge society. There, the private sector increasingly has become a way to make a living far more than a way to make a life. It will and should give material success and personal achievement, but the business enterprise is clearly what Tönnies, 110 years ago, called a society rather than a community. A greater need for non-governmental organizations. 3. Only the social sector, that is, the non-governmental, non-profit organization, can create what we now need, communities for citizens, and especially for the highly educated knowledge workers who increasingly dominate developed societies. One reason for this is that only non-profit organizations can provide the enormous diversity of communities we need, from churches to professional associations, from organizations taking care of the homeless to health clubs, if there are to be freely chosen communities for everyone. The non-profit organizations also are the only ones that can satisfy the second need of the city, the need for effective citizenship for its people. Only social sector institutions can provide opportunities to be a volunteer, and thus enable individuals to have both a sphere in which they are in control and a sphere in which they make a difference. The 20th century, now coming to an end, has seen an explosive growth of both government and business, especially in the developed countries. What the dawning 21st century needs above all is equally explosive growth of the non-profit social sector in building communities in the newly dominant social environment, the city.